am Kayla.K.Keane and welcome to another of my live streams where I allow you to ask me any question about finance, real estate, or anything else that you find interesting. If you want to talk about regular, everyday things that are happening, you can do so. Or if not, you can stick to the script and ask all your questions about finance and real estate. Firstly, though, I want to find out how everything is going with you. I see some persons are early and are saying hello in the comment section. I'm happy to have you as always. I see Timoy O'Brien is here. He says good evening, hosts and subscribers. Good evening. And says hello. All right, I'm happy, very happy that you guys are early. And of course, I want to know how everyone is doing. How has everybody been keeping up? For those of you who are living abroad, you might know by now that we are on lockdown today. So the Jamaicans are home. For persons who are in the UK and the US and other countries, you can let me know how things are going in your country. And if you are on lockdown or if you got off lockdown by now. Alright, so if you don't already know, this week we are talking about the cost of real estate in Jamaica and when the cost will go down. You must have noticed by now that the cost for properties in Jamaica is somewhat ridiculous, for want of a better word. And many persons feel as though they cannot afford to buy real estate in Jamaica because it is just so expensive. If it's your first time here, thank you very much for joining the conversation, and remember to give the video a thumbs up and to subscribe if you have not already done so, as well as to click the notification bell. Click it until it's on all so that you will not miss a notification whenever I upload a video or whenever I go live. So if you don't do that, whenever I go live or upload a video, you won't see it. You might see it on your homepage, but you won't get a notification. Therefore, you are going to be missing out and operating as if you're sitting way around in the back of the class, and I don't want that for you. So please go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell. Additionally, we are trying to get the channel to 4,000 subscribers. So if you have not subscribed or if you have not told anyone about the channel, it's your time. So like the video so that the algorithm can help the video to get to more people, and also subscribe and hit the bell so that you can increase your chance of seeing the videos that I upload. So as I said before, I'm talking about the cost for real estate in Jamaica this evening. I see Chronicles of Thea is here, as well as Earth Strong. Earth Strong is in New York, so New York is up and running. Okay, that's awesome. So we are on lockdown. We are the not so lucky ones, but it's not as bad because we're only on lockdown for one day of the week now. Before, we were locked down for about 3 days or so. Yeah, so we're glad to be outside. All right, so we're talking about the exponential increase in the cost of real estate and if or when it is projected to go down, right? I know that that's very interesting for some of you, because in recent times, some of the conversations that I've been having, persons are basically saying that they are now somewhat frustrated because they feel as though they'll never be able to achieve their goal of home ownership. I see Angela Dwyer, she's joining from England, and Miss Burrows is also joining. Right, so as I've been saying earlier, some persons are now frustrated. They feel as though they'll probably never be able to afford to purchase a house in Jamaica, especially the Jamaicans who are living here in Jamaica. So they feel as though, all right, the price for houses is just too high and I just cannot afford it. And of course, that's not a good place to be in, because most people have buying a house as one of their biggest life goals. And when you're thinking about your life goals and you're saying, but this is not even attainable, then that is just very daunting, very discouraging, disheartening, and all of the other words, right? And you can let me know in the comment section if you've ever thought about, I want to buy a house, but then when you think about the reality that exists, you just say to yourself, I might never be able to achieve this goal. So that is what we're going to be talking about this evening. The cost of real estate in Jamaica and what we can do about it, right? I see Miss Burrows is saying, excellent topic, Kayla. All right, awesome. I'm glad that you feel that way, Miss Burrow. And I'm happy to have you also. Right, so $20 million. So when you think $20 million, $20 million is not a small amount of money in the grand scheme of things. Miss Barrow say, I have, let me see, I'm going back to the comments. I somewhat gave up on house hunting. It's too much. The prices are crazy. And Kevar Tefla is saying good evening. Hi Kevar, thanks for joining. Right, so a lot of people feel that way, Miss Burrows. A lot of people feel that way. Just this week I was talking to a couple of my friends. All of them are like early 30s or late 20s. And most of them were sharing the same sentiment. I was having a whole conversation with my friend, and we were basically saying it's so hard for you to buy a house, especially as a single person. So if you're planning to buy a house alone in Jamaica, it's significantly harder than if you are like married and you're going to buy with a spouse. If you're buying with a spouse, it's not so difficult. But if you're trying to buy alone, trust me, it's very hard. So that's what we are looking at. And I would suggest also one of the, we have to figure out a way to go around things, right? So if it is a case where you are married and you're comfortable, then of course you can go ahead and partner with your spouse to purchase a property, which would make it way easier for you to buy a house in Jamaica. Because for example, if your spouse is qualified for say $15 million and you are also in a stable job that allows you to qualify for $15 million, then you can easily buy a house for $30 million. But if it is a case where you're a single person and maybe you're a single parent on top of that, and you're trying to purchase a house in Jamaica, it's going to be as if it's impossible, because $15 million, to be honest, can't buy anything in this market, which is sad because $15 million is a lot of money. But it's just what it is right now, and that's just the market. We're in a seller's market, and so persons who want to sell their property now, they're in a great place because they can get the asking price or even more than the asking price. But persons who want to buy are at a disadvantage because it's so expensive now for persons to buy. I see David Goodney saying good evening also. Hi David, welcome to the live. Right, Miss Burrows is saying the bank will lend you 90%, but it's hard to save at least 20% for the closing costs, deposit, and the other costs. Definitely. But the 90% is, you see, when the bank says it will lend you 90%, we have to quantify what that means, because the bank saying it will lend you 90% does not mean if you have a minimum wage job, the bank is going to lend you 90% on a property that costs say $20 million. You might not even be able to qualify for a loan for that amount. So it's not a case where the bank is going to lend you 90% on anything. It's 90% on what you qualify for. So that's why I'm always saying, guys, get your pre-qualification letters so that you know from the get-go what you can afford to buy. Because the truth is, you might see a property that you like, but there's no sense in wasting your time if you cannot pre-qualify for that property. If you can't qualify for the property, you're not going to be given a loan to purchase it. So you have to know ahead of time what you'll be able to afford so that you can look within your price range, so to speak. So the bank will lend you 90% of what you qualify for and not 90% of the property that you like in particular. Right? I see some new persons are joining. Thanks for joining, and remember also to give the video a thumbs up and to subscribe if you have not already subscribed. If you are subscribed, just double check the bell. It should be somewhere on this side to ensure that you have placed it on all so that you don't miss a notification whenever I post a video or upload a video. Alright, so currently now in the US, because a lot of people think that the cost for property and the whole conversation about houses being too expensive is a local pandemic, for want of a better word, but it's not. It's actually a global phenomenon, because in the US now, companies like Zillow are currently having a special program that they call the iBuyer program, where they are trying to make buying and selling a house as easy as buying and selling a car. So what they are doing is they are approaching persons who want to sell their property, and they are buying the properties for up to $1 million more than what the persons are asking for. You understand? So it's an international phenomenon. And the truth is, if you are very wealthy and I'm asking for $35 million for my property, then you'll be able to afford it. So when you'll have, say, a not so wealthy couple, however, they have a good enough job that when they partner, so the husband and the wife, or the boyfriend and the girlfriend, when they partner, they can afford the house for 35 million. But if somebody is wealthier than them, then what they'll simply do is just up the asking price. So you're asking for 35 and they say, okay, we can pay 37. So you know automatically who will be favored. And I know maybe it's natural and normal for persons to feel like when they're getting to that stage where they want to buy a property, like it's the most expensive thing they've ever done, and it feels challenging and so on. Because even when you converse with older persons, you know, sometimes you talk to older persons and they'll tell you, when I was buying this property, it was $12,000 at the time. $12,000 was a lot of money, you know, and they'll tell you how they had to sacrifice to purchase the property and whatever. So it will always seem as if buying houses is expensive. But now in this particular market, it is definitely not just a feel. It is very expensive to purchase houses. And to know when the prices might possibly go down, we're going to look at some economic terminologies and phenomena to better quantify the conversation. We're also going to look at what the experts are saying, so what the banking persons from the banking sector are saying, as well as the real estate sector, so that we can have a better idea of how to understand the housing sector. But before we do that, I'm going to take some more questions. And if you're here, guys, don't just stay quiet. If you don't have a question as yet, say hi in the comment section and let us hail you up. Let us know that you're here. Angela Dwyer says, hi Kayla, how are you doing? Long time. Hi Angela, I'm doing fabulous. I had a virtual meet and greet. Some of you guys apparently missed the invitation, but I guess I'll have to have another one. I'm thinking about just doing the other one on here and doing it so that you can join by video call. Miss Burrow says, I somewhat gave up. Okay, I read that already. So we're at DD, who says, so there is no negotiation. No, DD, you're asking about negotiation as it relates to how much you qualify for. No, there's no negotiation. The only thing that makes it negotiable is, for example, say you work at a company, right, and you're getting, let's say, $200,000 per month as your salary, as your take-home salary, your net income. When you go to the bank, say you have a contractual job on the side and they pay you, let's say, $100,000 per month, then you can get them to add that $100,000 to the $200,000, which would increase the amount of money that you qualify for. But apart from you having extra money or so on, there isn't much other negotiation that you can do. If you do have cash, like say you have a large sum of cash that you don't want to spend, then you can also point that out to the bank. I'm sure they'll be able to give you a larger sum of money So those are some things that you can look into. But apart from that, there isn't much negotiation as it relates to that. And remember that you can get your portion from the NHC too, providing that you're a contributor. So for the persons who are living abroad, you know that you have to be contributing for 2 years to benefit. And for those who are living here, you know that that period is a little shorter. It's 1 year. All right, so I see Miss Burrows saying, oh, Tanya is saying hi. Hi, Tanya. Thanks for joining. Miss Burrows said the middle class and lower class in Jamaica is outbid when purchasing a house. Yes, and it's not just purchasing a house. It's anything and everything. Yeah, once the more money, the more talk, so to speak. I see Mommy is saying hi. Thanks for watching, Mommy. Right, so that is just how it is. It's with everything. It's with everything, because if you cannot afford a particular car, nobody is going to feel sorry for you and give it to you. You're just gonna have to deal with the fact that somebody else can afford to pay 40 million for a house and you are only qualifying for 13 million. Right, so we're going to look at supply and demand, which is some basic economics. So supply and demand is basically a law in economics. The law of supply and demand is a theory that explains the interaction between the seller of a resource and the buyer of that resource, right? The theory defines the relationship between the price of a given goods or product and the willingness of people to either buy it or sell it. So generally speaking, as price increase, people are willing to supply more and demand less, and vice versa when the price falls. So the price will balance out over time when the supply and demand get into what they call equilibrium. So that is when the housing sector, for example, that is when the prices for houses in Jamaica will begin to stabilize. So at the beginning of the pandemic, persons were postulating that it should affect the housing sector in a positive way. And when I say positive, meaning we should see better prices, because of course you're thinking, okay, this whole pandemic is kind of wrecking the economy, so persons have less money and whatever, so it should get better. So for example, Earl Samuels, who is the Chief Development Financing Officer for JN, which is Jamaica National, for those of you who are abroad, he believed that there would have been some leveling off of prices in the real estate market in the Jamaican, if the Jamaican economy does not recover from COVID-19 in the short term. Now, this could still exist because, of course, we're still on the road to recovery. So he said that the Jamaican real estate market has been on an upward trajectory, especially over the past 5 years, and added that it was difficult to say when the market would return to a boom because of the uncertainty brought on by the pandemic. He also went on to say, and I quote, "There will be some leveling off in prices in the real estate market soon unless the impact of COVID-19 is short-lived. The economy starts to gain some momentum. The recovery is going to take some time to happen. Therefore, I think real estate prices will experience some leveling off as a result. I don't see prices falling, but levels of appreciation that we have experienced over the past 3 to 4 years will level off." So basically he's saying, and that's the end of the quote, so basically he's saying that the prices will stabilize. So he's not necessarily saying that the prices for houses are going to go down, but that it will stabilize, right? So we're still playing the wait and see game. And I see I have a comment. Hold on. And Sandra Trowers says, then why the low income keep paying National Housing Trust and they will never qualify for a house? It's not fair. So they only qualify for refund. Right. So Miss Trowers, that's why I'm always saying that I have to be real with persons. And if you find that you are in especially a lower income earner bracket, so you know that it is highly unlikely that you're going to be able to qualify for an NHT property or so on, a good idea for you is to think about purchasing land. Hi Dwayne Bennett just joined. Or if you don't want to purchase land and say your grandmother has land or your uncle or some family member have land, then what you can do is ask them for permission to build on the land and try to build instead. So we have to get creative, and I'm never going to tell people to give up on the goal of home ownership, because I'm sure it is one of the most fulfilling feeling, and some persons that's their biggest life goal. So they don't care about anything else, they just want to own somewhere that they live in. So there are different routes that you can take to home ownership. So if that's not working out for you, then you go ahead and use the build option. And remember that the NHT is not just for buying scheme properties. So it's not just for buying properties in NHT scheme. You can go ahead and utilize the build on land loan. So if you have a parcel of land that you have, it's yours, so the title is in your name, or you have written permission to build on the land, then you can go ahead and utilize that option. I see some more comments in the comment section. So Miss Chowers, that was the answer to your question. You can tell me if you were okay with the answer, or if you have another idea. Sash Muller says, may God help us with better paying jobs and successful business. Amen. And one of the things that we can look into too is starting businesses. So I always tell people that the easiest way to make money is to buy something and sell it back, especially when you don't have to put a lot of effort into that thing. So if you know that there are persons around you who like to buy clothes, then you just buy it and sell it back, make the profit, and you call that your little business, and you start saving towards whatever goals you have. So if you want to build a property, you start saving towards that. All right, let me see. I think I saw another comment. Miss Barrows said, did NHG publish the Silver Sun in today's paper? I read today's paper. I don't recall seeing it. It was quite chunky though. I don't know if I missed it. I didn't read all the sections, but no, I don't recall seeing that. And one of the Silver Sun properties have actually been published some time ago, not so long ago, maybe a month ago. I have a video up on my channel about that, so I don't know if you missed that one or if you're talking about something else. I don't know if there's another upcoming phase, but there was a phase that was just completed and listed by the NHT. They were accepting applications for that. All right, so the future as I see it, based on what we just spoke about, is something that is called REIT, R-E-I-T, and I'm going to do an exclusive and extensive video on REIT, because there is a way to go about things that is not the traditional way that we are taught, that could be helpful for most of us. So stick around till the end. I'm going to try and take you into it, but as I said before, I'm going to do a more extensive video on that. For those of you who are just joining, thanks for joining. Remember to share the video with somebody so that they can join me live and ask their real estate and finance questions. Additionally, if you have not done so already, remember to give the video a thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and sharing it with other persons. So the more you like the video, the more YouTube shares it with other persons. So just as we share things that are not educational and things that are not uplifting, let us go ahead and share things that will help us and help others. So REIT, as I was saying before, is basically just an acronym for real estate investment trusts, right? So these are companies that own or finance income producing real estate across a range of property sector. So basically, there are companies that have a large amount of their shares are real estate shares. So they invest heavily in the real estate sector. So the shareholders, which would be you if you would choose to purchase stocks from these companies, share the income that is produced by these companies without actually having to go out, buy, or maintain properties. So it brings me to the point that I really wanted to make, and this is investing in real estate without buying houses, right? Hold on, let me see what persons are saying in the comment section. All right, so I see quite a few of you talking. Capitan Hall says absolutely agree, and he also says companies like Signos, yes, and First Rock and Proven REIT, yes. So there are quite a few of them here in Jamaica. So Sandra Trower says, I asked the NHT about the home improvement loan. To me, the process is complicated, so it is easier to get a loans company. All right, so the home improvement loan is not the one that I was referring to a while ago. A while ago, I referred to the build on land loan, which is what you will use to build on a parcel of land if it's your first time owning a property, or this is your first attempt at owning a property, but you have land, you don't want to buy a house, you want to build on it, so you can use that. But the home improvement loan, for those who don't know what it is for persons who already have a house, but you want to fix something on the house. So for example, your sink is leaking, so you want to change out the whole sink, or you want to change your bathroom or something like that. So Ms. Charles is saying the process is complicated. However, remember that anything having to do with housing in Jamaica, in my view, is a little complicated. I was talking to somebody earlier, and they were sharing experience that they had with a financial institution trying to sort out the same home ownership thing. And basically, it was a very unpleasant one that cost the person a lot of money and a lot of wasted time, because they never ended up getting the help, and they had to spend close to $500,000 to find out that they're not going to get the help. So things with housing in Jamaica, and I find that our systems in general tend to be so archaic sometimes and annoying and unhelpful. However, we have to find a way to work around them, because at the end of the day, as I said, I don't want any of you to give up on your goals or dream of home ownership. I want you to be strong and stay focused. So we're still going to try to get it regardless of the frustration that we feel. And maybe sometimes we don't ventilate issues like these. Maybe I could do a live about, all of the frustrating issues that persons have when trying to sort out real estate, and bring on a guest that can help you to answer those questions, how to solve those issues. So let me see. Capitan Hall is saying, that is true, Miss Trowers. That is sad, Miss Trowers. Antoinette is saying, good evening, everyone. First time joining. So guys, you know how we do it when we have a first time person joining. Welcome to the Future Millionaire family, Miss Antoinette Determined. I see Sasha is already saying hello to you. And Capitan Hall also. She says that she's trying to own a house, but it's very frustrating, but I'm not giving up. Yeah, you can't give up. So for those of you who it's your first time like Antoinette, remember, firstly, you need to get all your things in order. So you don't want to approach the process thinking, oh, I want to own a home, but you don't know the steps. You must know the steps and follow them. So if it is a case where you end up finding a property that you like, or that is in your price range and you can afford it, you're not wasting time to get documentation, and then somebody else who possibly have more money than you and have their things in order, they go ahead and get the property over you because you're not prepared. So Antoinette, if you have not done so already, you need to go to the NHT if you're a contributor and get your pre-approval letter, and go to your bank and also get your pre-approval. Because of the whole COVID situation, the NHT and the banks have partnered, and they have made the process easier. So you no longer need to go to the NHT and then the bank. You can go straight through the bank of your choice and just give them the go ahead to get your pre-approval letter from the NHT. They'll tell you how much you qualify for. So you won't be in the housing market looking and just looking, but you'll be looking knowing already what you're able to afford or what you can't afford, so you'll be looking within your price range. So once you see a property that you like, you can go ahead and purchase it. But we don't want to digress too much, so we're talking about the cost of real estate in Jamaica and when the cost is estimated to go down. And I know a lot of you are thinking about that, because truly we like to talk about low income earners, but there are persons who are not low income earners who still cannot afford houses in Jamaica, which is what makes it so ridiculous. It's not a case where it's the persons who are earning minimum wage, or it's the persons who are working and getting paid weekly or bi-weekly that cannot afford houses. It's not just those persons. There are persons who have normal jobs, good jobs, who have masters and possibly PhD in Jamaica, who still cannot afford houses. So that's the issue that we are trying to tackle. So one of the things that I was saying earlier is that there are different ways to approach the whole home ownership situation. So for example, if you are not able to purchase a house just yet, you could look into REITs, as we were saying before, which are real estate trusts. So you could buy those stocks basically, or invest in those companies, so you get the benefits of the real estate market without purchasing a house just yet. And I'm going to do a fulsome video on that to condense the issue, ventilate it, use somebody who is very experienced in the area to teach you more about it, so that you're able to better understand what that is. Let me see what persons are saying. Somebody, David is welcoming Miss Antoinette, and she's saying going there in another 2 weeks. I've applied online and it seems futile. Okay, that's awesome. Caperton Hall says cost of real estate go down in Jamaica. Must be Jamaica, Queens, and New York. Antoinette says, at Mr. Hall, you are so correct. Most Jamaica Avenue in Queens. Yes, guys, but I don't want you to be pessimistic. The cost can actually go down. But as I said before, there are some very specific conditions that would have to happen for the cost of real estate to go down. And it has to do with supply and demand. So one of the issues that I've always pointed out with our market here in Jamaica, in some countries, for example, you find persons buying houses there that live there predominantly. In Jamaica, some of the houses that are being purchased for Airbnb by persons who live abroad and work in different currencies like pound and US. So they have way better spending power than us. And some companies are also purchasing properties to put them in the rental sector. So obviously those persons would have a lot of money to invest. So what persons who are not so wealthy as yet and are not able to afford a house could look into is REIT, which is investing in companies that invest most of their capital in real estate. Dwayne Bennett says, is Airbnb a good investment? It depends. Some persons have bought properties strictly for investing in Airbnb and they have lost significant amounts of money, while there are persons who have invested and have done well. So one of the things that you have to think about is the area that you are going to purchase a property in. So if you are purchasing a property in a tourist resort area, obviously you'll be able to rent the property for more money. If you're putting it on Airbnb, you'll be able to make a better return of that money. However, if you are purchasing an area that nobody wants to stay in, then you will have a significant issue. Additionally, when you're purchasing a property, say you're purchasing and the thought behind the purchase is to put it into Airbnb, you have to also think about a plan B. For example, nobody expected Corona, nobody expected the whole pandemic, right? So many persons before the pandemic started, like in 2019 thereabout, they purchased properties for Airbnb. So when persons stopped traveling, who are you renting these properties to now? It's just there and it's closed up. So what you should do is have a plan B, possibly a plan C too. So maybe your plan B could be to rent the property. So if all else fails, if your plan for Airbnb fails, then you have a plan B, which is of course to rent the property, or maybe to live there, or something of the sort. Capitan Hall says government to create the atmosphere which demands lower market interest rate for real estate developers. And I don't know that the government is going to ever do that. Dwayne, additionally, I remember in 2018, Airbnb was a couple $billion, made a couple $1 billion in profit here in Jamaica. So at that time it was very lucrative, and not just anecdotally, but there is the black and white to support the argument that it was very lucrative. But now, I don't know, well, I do know, it's not as lucrative for some persons. Of course, the tourism sector is picking back up now, and even when we are on lockdown, tourists are allowed to travel to the country. So it should be picking back up now. And as I said before, if you're planning to do that, just ensure that you have a plan B. So if all else fail, you go to your plan B, right? Alright, so Anne says, I wish HAJ would communicate better to the public about the St. Catherine estate houses. The employer seemed to lack knowledge as to what is going on in the company. Okay, the St. Catherine estate properties, it was actually oversubscribed. So persons applied for them, and what they're basically doing now is just waiting on a response to find out if you were selected or not. And I'm guessing that the selection process is just one of the processes, similar to the NHT, where when you apply, if you are selected for a property, they'll call you for an interview, and then if you pass that phase, then you will know if you are one of the families that was selected for the property. So that's how the HAJ does it too. But I think one of the issue with the St. Catherine estate properties is just because of the cost. So it is one of the most affordable property that we have seen in a very long time, and I'm sure that we will see in a very long time to come. I think they were going at between $5 and $6 million thereabout. So you know that obviously a lot of people who are low income earners would be going after those properties because they are affordable. So that's one of the issues that they are having. I see some persons that are just joining. Welcome, guys. If you have not done so already, remember to give the video a thumbs up. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. If you're new, tell me in the comment section so that we can give you a big welcome. And if you're here and you're quiet, just say hello so that we can know that you are here. Right. So just in case you missed anything that I said before, we're talking about the cost for real estate in Jamaica and when it is projected to go down. So I want you to focus on an economic term. It is called supply and demand. It's very simple to understand and it's commonly spoken of, but I want you to pay attention to it because that is what will dictate how the housing sector is going to go from here, right? So we don't know when anything is going to change that will significantly impact the cost for properties in Jamaica, but what we can do is speculate from an informed position. So we're still speculating because you cannot say for sure, okay, it's going to go down tomorrow or Tuesday, but you can definitely make an informed judgment on the market. Alright, so for those of you who have not been keeping up with the channel, I have some new videos out, so go ahead and check out those videos. If you are new, I post a video every Friday at 3 p.m. or most Fridays at 3 p.m. and I go live on Sundays at 6 p.m. So on Sundays, you can think of all your questions that you have about real estate and finance, and you can ask them in the comment section. I'm very happy to answer your questions and assist you in any way possible. Today, we are talking about the housing sector, of course, and when the cost of real estate is going to go down possibly in Jamaica. So as I said before, supply and demand really controls what happens with the market, not just the housing market, but all of the other markets. So if there is a heavy demand for properties, then we know that the cost will not stabilize anytime soon. But as soon as the demand goes down, then the cost will also go down with it, as they are inversely proportionate. So we're waiting for some equilibrium in the housing market. We have seen in the US, for example, where there was a point where persons were losing their house left, right, and center. It was just a bad housing situation around 2008 thereabout, when we had the recession. However, over time things have changed, and we're hoping for the best here also. One of the things that I want you to do for me also, future millionaires, for those of you who are parents, you might have children that you think they're not ready to learn about this whole buying a house thing or whatever. However, it is always good to educate your children from they are young about these things, so that they can make informed decisions from early. Sometimes when you look back, you would have been able to afford things that you can't afford now when you were younger, or you just start working, because simply you didn't have as many responsibilities as you do now. But in Jamaica, we tend not to talk about these things, which makes it difficult for you when you find out at 40 that you want to own a home, that you can't do it now because of all the other obligations that you have. So we want to make this a conversation and continue to ventilate it as much as possible until we can get to a better place. For those of you who are looking for properties to purchase, I have a video coming out on Friday with 3 properties that are available for sale here in Jamaica. I also have a commercial property for sale, so I don't know if I'll put it out on Friday or over the weekend, but just stay tuned. That's why it's important for you to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, put it on all, so that you do not miss a video. Because remember, houses go quickly, so if I upload something and you're taking 2 months to see it, you know that somebody else is going to purchase that property. If you haven't liked the video, please remember to like the video, guys. Like the video. It's very important to me that you like the video. Oh, additionally, guys, I have a video coming out about cryptocurrency. So some of you are interested in alternative investments. So cryptocurrency is one of the things that you can look into, but I know that oftentimes we're not very educated about things in the finance or the real estate sector. So I spoke to an investor. I did an interview with an investor about cryptocurrency. So that video will be coming out soon. So I want you definitely to stay tuned for that and other videos that are coming out. I have a lot of videos coming out within the next, well, from Friday going back to the end of the year. So I want you to stay tuned so that you don't miss any of these videos. I see somebody commenting. Capitan Hall says the last time the government did something by increasing NHT loan ceiling for contributors, and the real estate market collectively raised the cost of houses. So I don't know. Yeah, they increased it by $1 million, and then the cost for houses went out of whack anyway, so it's not like it helped anybody at all. And says, are there any persons 30 years and older who have been successful at getting a scheme from the NHT in the past? Yes, Anne, but what those persons generally do, 30 years and younger, yeah, what those persons generally do is use like their parents' points. That's the best way to get through, because what you'll find happening, for each scheme house that is listed by the NHT, there is a points requirement. So I have done a video before on how the points are calculated. So based on your age and the amount of years that you're contributing, you can find out how many points you have, right? So if it is that you're younger, generally, you won't find yourself successful at applying for NHT properties, because they favor those that are older. And I have a video on that also that says NHT favors older persons. And that's because obviously if you need points that you need to be working for 20 years to have, then a younger person wouldn't have those points. So what they generally do, the younger persons who get through, they use their parents' points, which does not. There are two types of two ways in which I can do that. You have the NHG Parent Assist 1, Parent Assist 2. I have a video on that already, so all of that information is on the channel. All you have to do, for those of you who are interested in finding out, is to look for the videos and watch them. You says, I don't see the house price going down in anytime in Jamaica. Jamaicans don't drop price even when the demand is low. All right, so that's your view, Anne, and I understand where you're coming from. However, technically speaking, if you are selling something and you're selling it for $1 million and nobody wants it and nobody will buy it, and somebody else is selling the same thing for $500,000, best believe, whether you like it or not, you're gonna have to drop your price. So the issue now is just for something to happen that stabilizes the market, or at least give us some equilibrium where the prices stop going up. Because I'm seeing where persons are selling like a 1-bedroom for $2 million. No, why would I take for $20 million? Sorry, well, I wish it was two. Why would I take my $20 million to buy a 1-bedroom now? You tell me. You can't rent a part of that. The only thing you can do is live in it, unless you plan to rent the entire thing. And if you rent the entire thing, will you be able to recover your $20 million in rent? How much money you're going to charge that person on a monthly basis? So those are some of the things that we have to contend with, and we do continue to hope for the best. All right, guys, so you can go ahead now and ask me any question that you want to ask, or make your comment in the comment section and I'll respond to them. So I'm going right into the comment section now. If you're just joining, remember to give the video a thumbs up. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. It helps my channel to do better. And remember to subscribe and hit the bell. Put it on all if you have not done so already. And additionally, I want you to share the video and share my channel with a friend so that they can benefit from the information. I see persons commenting. Dwayne says, house price demand not going to be low, demand always high. And says, is it possible to get a Sunday Observer paper to purchase that was published in March 2021? Yes, it is, and you can purchase it directly from the Jamaica Observer. They are located on Beechwood Avenue in Kingston. So yes, you can purchase any paper that has ever been published. You can purchase them from the company. So if it's the Gleaner, you can purchase it directly from the Gleaner, and if it's the Observer, you can purchase directly from the Observer. So yes, you can get that paper. Right, guys, so as I said before, I don't want you to get daunted. I don't want you to feel disheartened. I want you to think now about your options. So you want to own a home? All right. Is the NHT the best option for you? Is waiting for an NHT scheme property the best option for you? If no, do you want to buy on the open market? What's your affordability? So what can you afford? So all of those things, you have to think about them and be deliberate in your actions. So if it is that you're going with option 2, then you're going to have to know how much money you have, where you want to live, and if that amount of money can purchase a home in that particular area. If not, do you have a parcel of land? Is it properly registered in your name? All right, you don't have land. All right, your mommy have land, your uncle have land, who you know have land. Would they be able to give you permission to build on that land, and would it be conflict and incident free if you did go ahead and build on the land? I want you to think about all of that. If yes, you can get them to write in black and white and say that you are given permission to build on the land, then you can go ahead and use the build on land loan option. Probably you live with your parents, maybe you want to add on to the house, you can look into the home improvement loan option. As I say, with everything, there is some amount of paperwork and whatever. And I know that it can feel daunting. For example, me, I don't like to apply for, say, scholarships. I just find the process annoying. Like, why do I have to find so much things to give or no? Why I can't just see me do good in a school, look at my transcript from my degree and say, all right, yeah, girl, you can get a you can get the assistance that you need. I hate doing that, but at the end of the day, we have to do what we have to do if we want to get where we want to get. You have friends and family. If you don't want to do the process, let them assist you. Somebody must be there who is willing to assist you with the process. So if you don't like that part of it, let somebody assist you with that. But do not give up. Whatever you do, don't give up. Because if you give up now and you don't believe, some of you are saying, all right, the price not gonna ever go down. All right, fine. So it's not gonna ever go down. Are you then going to resign yourself to the thought of, oh, I will never own a property? Or do you really want to own a property? Because if you do, thinking that, okay, it will never go down and I'm just going to sit here and just feel frustrated, that's not going to help any of us. So let us work together to achieve the goals that we want. And says, do you think the demand for a house in this pandemic is greater than before the pandemic? No, and I don't have any empirical data to support to say that it's not greater or greater. But no, I don't think it's greater. I think we've always had the issue in Jamaica where persons really want somewhere to live, somewhere to buy, somewhere to rent. Every weekend, I'm sure if you go on the road, you see somebody driving around or walking around and looking for property. I think it has just always been that way. And I don't know when that's going to change. And then because I believe that we're not educated about certain processes, and if we are educated, we get the education late. So you are now 35 and you're just really actively trying to own a property because that was never something that was taught to you in school or something that they place a lot of emphasis on. Just the other day I was thinking about it and I was saying, you know, the entire education system, and I'm not talking about a formal school now, but the way we educate our children, it has got to change. 2 things you want to teach your children about from early. 1, the whole real estate thing, how to own properties, how you go about buying a properties, what they need to do from early. Because remember, you know, if you're 20 and you get a loan from the NHE, first of all, if you're 20 and you get a loan from the NHE, you have a way longer period to repay, so the interest rate is way lower. So the older you get, the interest rate gets higher for you, and you have to pay off, well, if the interest rate is even the same, you have to pay off quicker, so you know it's more money you have to spend. I see some persons are just joining. Remember to give the video a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe if you haven't done so, and leave a comment so I know that you're here. Sheen's P said, it seems as if life insurance need to be included in the cost of purchasing a house. Is there a particular amount or percentage to save for based on the cost of the house? Yes, so you're trying to save 10% of the cost of the property that you are going for, Sheen's P. So if you want a house that costs, let's say $20 million, you're gonna need to have like $20 million, $2 million of that cash. In addition to that, you're going to have to pay your lawyer, who is charging a cost of the percentage of the property, and then you're gonna have to pay your other fees, like you have to pay for surveyor, you have to pay for valuation, you have to pay for stamp duty, you have to pay some other things. I've gone through them. I think I went through them week before last, so you can just watch back the lives and see. Yes, so you're gonna have to, so really and truly, if you're going to purchase a property, you need to, like for $20 million, really and truly you need to have about $3 million, because you're gonna have to pay your lawyer all of this money, you're gonna have to pay the surveyor, the valuator, all of these people, you're gonna have to change over your utilities, which will cost you money, and it's not money you're thinking about, but you're gonna need it at last minute. If there are repairs that are needed for the property, you gotta pay for that. You have to pay for the lawyer to do up your sales agreement and things like that. Anne says, do you recommend saving for a $2 million deposit on closing costs or take loan? So Anne, what I recommend is that your deposit, you should have your deposit cash. So you have to save up your deposit, and then everything else will come in the form of the NHT loan and the loan from the bank, but you need to have some cash on you, because remember, you're already taking a big loan as the mortgage. So more than likely you're not going to qualify for another loan at that time, and the more loan you take, the more money you have to pay back. So to make life a little easier on yourself, you want to save. And that's what I was saying last week, as also the week before. If you plan to purchase a house, you need to just get in the habit of saving and investing from now. Because the truth is, once you find that property that you really like, you're gonna need money. And there's a difference. All right, say I'm going to buy a property in 2025 and I start saving now, then it's not so cumbersome. I don't feel pressured because I'm taking my time to save and invest towards 2025. But if you wait until 2025, if that's when you're planning to purchase a property, and then in the same year you think that you're going to save all of this money one time, I don't know how you're going to do that. That's going to become very difficult. So for everybody who is on here, if you're planning to buy a property, if you're planning to do some improvement to your property, your MO should be saving and investing right now, right? So forget the extra things that you want to do, forget the go that you want to go out. You should be saving money towards that deposit. Looking back to see the other comments, Chris Bennett says scheme houses are truly unaffordable in this economy, but on the countryside there are reasonable fixer-uppers where vendors not necessarily seeking profit. In suburban St. Anne, there are opportunities. All right, that's an excellent point, Chris. So sometimes we have to look away from what we've been looking on and make a decision to probably purchase in another area that is more affordable. But because most persons want to purchase in Kingston, then you're just going to, or the corporate area, you're just going to find that the prices are ridiculous. For example, Portmore. Like 5 years ago, the houses in Portmore was for like $8 million. Now I'm seeing properties listing at even $20 million in Portmore, and it's not even some good communities. It's communities where everybody know that they have violence issues in some of the communities. You have a lot of garrisons in some of the surrounding some of the communities, and some of them are garrisons themselves. I saw a property listed at $15 million on this particular road since week, that at least 2 murders have happened on that road between last week and this week. So I'm wondering, why would I pay $15 million to hear gunshot every day? But I guess some persons might not know and just think the house is pretty and just purchase the house. But yes, there are opportunities outside of the corporate area. Angela Charles was telling me about sale agreement, yes, and says I think you need at least 20% of the cost of the property. All right, so you need 10% for the closing costs, right? So you need to just save up now for all your other things. So it's probably early for you, you haven't found a property yet, but if you have a lawyer that you want to use, you can ask your lawyer what percentage of the property, of the cost of the property they normally charge to draft the sale agreement. So then you'll know definitely how much money. And if you talk to your lawyer, they can send you a schedule of fees that you will need to pay, so it really informs your decision about purchasing the property. So they literally outline the fees. So they'll tell you if you're trying to buy. So when you get your pre-qualification from the bank, say you qualify for 30 million, then you give that information to your lawyer. They'll basically be able to draft a document that tells you your expected fees for everything. Because remember, every sale agreement is different, and the lawyer is charging you based on the cost of the property. So the more the property costs, the more the lawyer is going to charge you to do the sale agreement. And says I think Jamaican government should have a grant to assist first-time homeowners with closing costs. Olivia was on here. Her name on here is Autumn Rain. She was talking about that last week to say in the US, persons who are purchasing really don't have a big problem because there are several grants that the government makes available that assist them in making their goal of home ownership way easier. And I know that in the US, if you're in the military too, there are additional grants. So there are additional grants for persons who are in specific fields which is of course very helpful. So you know, persons literally join the military to get their tertiary education paid off and to get the grants for owning properties, which is excellent. But unfortunately in Jamaica we don't have that just yet. Chris says, can you explain how home equity loan really works? Is it that the fund NH that is really that the funds that NHT has for the home improvement loan must be invested in the same property? No. So how home equity loans work is that, so equity is basically value. So you own a home, you have equity in that home. So say you took out a loan for $20 million to purchase a home, right? So you took the loan from bank A. So you have been paying, say you have 20 years to repay and you've paid for 10 years. So you basically own a piece of this home now. It's your home, you know, but you don't totally own it as yet because the bank has a lien against it, so to speak. So you now have paid $10 million. So you can borrow against that $10 million that is your money that you have already invested in the house to use it to do something else. So that's basically what it is. You're borrowing against the part that you have paid off. Sandra says, when I bought mine it was 50-50. That was a long time ago, right, Mr. Wars? And Kavar Tefla says the sale agreement fee is non-refundable. Okay, the sale agreement fee is non-refundable. All right, I'm not sure if it is refundable or not, but usually when you get to the point that you are drafting sale agreement, it means that this is the final thing that I have to do, and you normally have 3 months to tie up all your loose ends. So you tie up all your loose ends with the bank and with the vendor, and you're ready to complete the sale within 3 months once the sale agreement is signed. So you're not usually in a phase where you're playing around. That's when you're sure of what you want to do. I see Janice Powell saying good evening. Hi Janice Powell. Is this your first time joining? Your name looks a little new to me. If it is your first time joining, just comment new so that we can welcome you. Yeah, so for those of you who are just joining, just please remember to give the video a thumbs up. Just click the white thumbs up button. It will turn blue. Remember to subscribe. It should be somewhere on the screen over here. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that whenever I upload a video, YouTube will send you notifications. So I'm trying to get to 30 thumbs up. So if you haven't clicked the thumbs up, go ahead and click it. Trying to get to 30. So if you have more questions rather, you can go ahead and ask them in the comment section. I'll answer them. But remember, I have some videos coming out this week. I have a video coming out on Friday at 3 p.m. I have some more videos that are coming out. I did an interview about cryptocurrency, buying cryptocurrency. So some of you, cryptocurrency is fairly new to most of us here in Jamaica. So I wanted to be one of the first persons here because I noticed that locally a lot of persons are not talking about it. But if we're really serious about investing, if we're really serious about making money, cryptocurrency is one of the things that you can look into. We're trying to build generational wealth. I see Rayvon Scott is here. Thanks for joining, Rayvon. If we're trying to build generational wealth, then you must invest in the way of the future, basically. You understand? You can't sit and expect that you're going to become wealthy by doing the same things that your grandmother used to do, like save under their mattress, because the truth is maybe they weren't wealthy. So if you do the same thing that they did, more than likely you're going to get the same result, which is you're not going to have a lot of wealth. So if we're trying to pass on wealth to the next generation, we have to invest in the way of the future. So as I said before, I have a great video about cryptocurrency coming out soon. I have 3 properties for sale. I'm putting those out on Friday, so I want you to look out for those. and I have some other great videos that are interview types with some awesome companies coming out soon. So I want you to stay tuned to the channel. Remember to like the video, remember to leave a comment, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Turn on the bell, put it on all if you have not already done so you don't miss a notification whenever I upload. And we'll be talking about REIT soon in another video. So if you want to earn money from real estate but you cannot afford to buy a house, then this video might definitely be for you. Since you're not asking me any more questions, and I'm assuming that I've answered all your concerns, comments and queries, so until next time, stay financially literate while we try to acquire properties together. Bye bye.